you have got to read John chapter 20 and 21. I'm just going over it recently, and I was really struck. Here we have the resurrection of Jesus Christ and his multiple appearances to his followers in Jerusalem. But as you get into John verse 21, there's this weird passage that I think really speaks to the humanity of the disciples, and specifically, you know I love him, Peter. Peter decided he was going to go back to fishing. So Jesus Christ is risen. He's seen him. He knows. But Peter's response to the uncertainty of what's going to happen next and who the Messiah really is, somehow his response is to fall back on his previous profession. Now, it doesn't say, maybe they just needed the money. Maybe they just needed the food. I don't know. But he's a natural leader. And so the other disciples are like, hey, me too. And so they jump in the boat also. And they go out fishing, and it's early morning, and they don't catch anything. But here they see somebody on the shore, and they know it's Jesus, but they don't know it's Jesus a little bit too. And he says, hey, have you guys caught anything? And they're like, yeah, that's got to be him. And so they're like, no. And he says, cast your net on the other side. It's this weird parallel version of when Peter was actually called at the very first time. Remember, he was fishing then too. And Jesus performed a miracle then too that had to do with the fish. Anyway, so the guys get ashore, and Jesus is making them breakfast, which is just the sweetest thing ever to my little mother heart. But I was thinking about how I think we could read a few lessons into this. And maybe you're with me on this, maybe you're not. It's not a big deal. But here's Peter's first response. When things are uncertain, he returns to a previous state. And I think, oh man, spiritually, that resonates with me, right? Sometimes when there's an area of uncertainty, when things are up in the air, the impulse for us is to return to an old way of doing things. And that's what Peter did. And because he was a natural leader, his friends followed him, which I think is really powerful and interesting to think about. And then it occurs to me that when you find yourself in these states, the things we can learn from this example are that God's going to take you back to your beginning sometimes. And that's what he did with Peter here, right? He replayed the events that led to Peter's conversion, which is really kind of awesome. And then God's going to see to your physical needs. In these areas of uncertainty, Jesus was making them breakfast. And you see this with Old Testament prophets too, right? God caring for his people in a very physical and tangible way. And that's so encouraging. Watch for that in your life. And then finally, he clearly defined Peter's purpose moving forward. This is the passage where he goes, do you love me? Feed my sheep. And he did it 3 times, maybe echoing the 3 times that Peter had betrayed him, or maybe it was just really hammering home. This is your new identity. This is your purpose that's going to encompass the rest of your life. Hold on to this. There isn't uncertainty anymore. If you find yourself in these positions, like Peter, unsure of which way to go, seeing God working, but not clear on his purpose for you, watch for these things. God will take you back to the beginning sometimes. He always sees to our physical needs in a restorative sort of way. And he's going to clearly define our purpose for us if we're willing to listen.